Hi everyone, I'm Poe from Olive Wellness, and today we're going to talk about Modern Fertility's at-home test kit, what I think about them, and if it works, and my honest opinion on them. But first, I wanted to go over why I even went on this fertility testing journey. So my husband and I got married, and of course, once you get married, it's so funny because like once you get engaged, everyone's like, "When's the wedding?" What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna have it? It's all about like when are you gonna have the wedding? Like you just literally just got engaged, and then they ask you all these questions. So when you get married, everyone asks you like, when are you gonna have kids? Like how many kids are you gonna have? Are you guys trying? Blah 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 blah. All this stuff, right? So it's like can be like so overwhelming, and I think not enough people talk about it, but it is so overwhelming. And I actually don't ask people when they, because I know how it feels to be on the other end. I don't ask my friends, like, when's the wedding? Or I don't ask my friends, are you guys trying? Because it is so personal and it can be so uncomfortable because maybe some people don't want to have kids. Maybe some people want to have kids and can't have kids. You just never know people's situation. So I just ask for everyone to be a little more empathetic and to have open conversations with people instead of just bombarding them. So aside from like pressure of people asking us, I just really wanted to know my reproductive health after we got married because we didn't want to have kids right away. We wanted to enjoy married life just like how we wanted to enjoy engagement life, which is really amazing. I think each stage of the relationship, dating, engaged couple, married couple, every stage is so unique and special. Even though it doesn't seem like it is when you transition, it really is different and really, really cool to be in each stage. So we wanted to have some time after we were married and some time after we were engaged to just really enjoy each other's company and bask in the happiness that we were in and the stage of life we were in. So going back to fertility, we decided, we would want to have kids, but we just wanted some time. But I still wanted to know my reproductive health status because I turned 30 and, you hear all this like stuff in the media and there's so much pressure. Like when you're 30, like your chances of getting pregnant are lower. Like, it's like all this stuff that people say that you aren't really sure is true or not, and you just want to know for yourself because honestly every individual is different. So I wanted to know for myself and my health status and where I was, right? So I decided I was due for my annual physical anyway, and I'm very productive, like proactive about my health. I said productive, I guess both productive and proactive about my health, or at least I try to be, right? And I was like due for my annual physical, so I was like, okay, let me think of like, and I suggest this to everyone getting an annual physical. Don't just book the appointment, just show up and like not have any questions. Think about like, oh, do I have any questions? Has my health changed in the past year? What are my health goals? And then go there and tell them like, hey, these are my health goals. How can you get me there? Because it is their job to get you to your health goal. Just like when I'm a healthcare provider for someone, I always ask my patients what are their goals, and I am there to help them get to their goals. So it's always good to jot down some stuff. So one of mine was to learn more about my fertility status, and I wanted to get fertility testing done. And my primary care provider referred me to a specialist, and I went there, made an appointment. I asked for the first appointment because I know that being a healthcare provider myself, that often things get delayed, people don't show up, or people show up and their appointment takes longer. And then if you happen to be later on in the day, then you might get delayed, right? So I asked for the first appointment of the day. I know I'm so like type A sometimes. So I asked for first appointment of the day. I show up like 30 minutes early because I was a new patient, had to do my intake paperwork, which I know takes time and all that. And then people have to process insurance. So got there like 30 minutes early, and I did not see anyone until 2 hours after my appointment time. So not even counting my waiting time that I showed up early for. It took 2 hours to get into the room to even get someone to see me, and then I had to wait again for the actual doctor to come in. And it was pretty upsetting, and I mean I was in like a good mood, but it was just like irritating because like I had asked for the first appointment of the day, so avoid delays, and then the doctor just didn't show up, which was kind of annoying. And no one really checked up. They were just like, oh, they're with another patient. And I was like, well, I asked for a first appointment. So yeah, anyway, it was really, really weird that they were so delayed. And what annoyed me the most was that the provider spent like 10 minutes with me. And literally the conversation boiled down to them saying, oh, you're young and healthy, you don't need any fertility testing, to me asking for fertility testing because I was like, well, I'm age 30, I'm thinking, but we're not trying to conceive yet, but we want to. So we want to be in the best possible health condition before we conceive. And I was already taking prenatals. I already cut down on socially drinking alcohol at times, like at dinners or something when we're out. This was all before COVID, so we were allowed to go out. And I expressed my concern, like, hey, we're not trying to have kids right now, but I want to be in optimal shape. Like, what are the tips? And I want to know my fertility status as a baseline. And they basically said that's not possible because you're young and healthy. You don't fit into any protocol that we would screen you for unless there was like a history of something related to reproductive health. And I had nothing. And they were like, you don't even have any medical conditions. So we're not worried. You know, they're like, we're not worried that you will have a problem getting pregnant. And I just felt so like belittled, and I felt like my control over my own body and reproductive health was taken out of my hand and stripped. Like, I'm literally coming to someone asking for, hey, can you test me for my fertility, see how fertile I am? Because, you know, they can test hormones and stuff. And they literally just said no. They didn't even try to say how we can test you for it. They didn't give me any suggestions on how to find out. They just said, oh, you're already taking prenatals, you're already ahead of the game, you're great, you're good to go, bye, and sent me out the door, which was really frustrating because I just get really frustrated with our current health system because it's very reactive versus being proactive. It is very good at, like, when something does happen, then they treat you for your symptoms, but they don't do a very good job of preventing things from happening or being proactive on seeing if there's problems in the future that they can prevent, which is the frustration. So because of this happening to me, I just thought, like, if this happens to me, this has happened to a lot of women everywhere else. So let me find a way to find out my own fertility, right? I don't even know, like, how, but I just started, like, Googling, even though it's one of the worst things to do, but I just, like, wanted to learn more about my reproductive health and how I can get tested. Like, was there a clinic that can test me? Could I pay out of pocket? And then I stumbled on the very, very, very nice, knowledgeable, amazing people at Modern Fertility. And they answered so many of my questions before I even bought a test kit. They were just answering my questions. They have an amazing blog full of information from doctors, specialists. And it was amazing. It was like a wealth of information about my reproductive health. And I feel like, you know, when we're younger, we only think about, like, periods. We don't think about, like, periods and reproductive health and fertility and hormones and all this other stuff. It's not, like, first on our mind. And it was just such a wealth of information, and they were so nice and supportive that I was like, you know what, let me give this a shot. So I got the test. It is the at-home kit, and it helps you test your fertility. You do have to wait to the first day of your period, and then you can start testing. And it comes in this nice little nifty kit. It's pretty discreet in the mail, and they have very, very detailed instructions on what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And they tell you what's in your kit. You get everything you need. You get the lancets to do the poke on your finger to get the blood, and then you get these, like, blood sample cards, and you just drip the blood onto the sample card. I know it seems like a little intimidating, but it's actually very easy if you read the instructions thoroughly, and they give you all the stuff. So I have some leftover stuff. I already sent mine in, but this is like the lancet. You would, like, snip this off. Of course, you would clean your hand with the alcohol they give you, and then you just go and press it hard, and you feel like a prick, like, and then you'll see the blood, and then you just let it drip onto the samples. I know it seems intimidating, but it's actually very easy. Just make sure you read the instructions and you lay out everything in the order that you need to do it, because I didn't do that because I was just, like, so excited for the test. And I was like, I got this, let's do it. And I was like, oh crap, I should have laid everything out so it's easier to grab instead of, like, delaying to, like, get to the actual blood test card, sample card. And yeah, so it's quite easy. If you ever seen someone do, like, a diabetes, like, prick to test their blood sugar with the lancet, is similar to that. It just makes a little bit of a bigger hole, so there's more blood for the 2 cards that you have to fill up. And then once you do, there's like a prepaid mailing label. You just put it in the envelope, seal it, and then you send it on its way. It's really, really easy. It's really, really cool. And then I would say I got my results in about a week. And it was so relieving to get my results because I really wanted to know what my status of fertility was. And a good thing, everything came back normal, and they have nice graphics for you. They tell you what each hormone means and what's normal range for women in your age group, because it's like literally the most thorough lab report I've ever gotten from any doctor or healthcare provider's office, because it actually tells you like what each thing means versus when you just go to the doctor, they just like give you results and they're like, oh, this one's abnormal, this one's normal, and they like you don't really know what it's supposed to mean in your body. But this is like so helpful, and I was so relieved because I felt like I had so much stress after my appointment, how they were like, you're just young and healthy, and then just like shoot me off. But good thing my results did come back normal, and I learned a lot about my reproductive health. And you can schedule a one-on-one with a fertility specialist, and they go over your results, not just like generic stuff, but like your personal results, which I love because it is so important to do individualized medicine and not just lump everyone in like an average, right? So it was so nice, and they're so knowledgeable. There's a bunch of nurses on it that are fertility specialists as well, and they're so compassionate about what they do, and it's just a really good mission for you to like take control of your health again instead of like getting the control taken away from you, because this is your body, this is your health, this is your reproductive health, this is your body that you're gonna possibly conceive a baby in the future. So if you want to know the status of your health and your body, you are entitled to it. And don't let anyone tell you that, oh no, you don't qualify, because you do, and you deserve someone better to be your provider. And also they accept HSA, FSA. So if you have that benefit from your company, make sure you use it. And the cost is not that bad. So usually these tests cost like $800 to $1,500 in a clinic setting, and then they bill your insurance, and then you have to pay a copay, all this kind of stuff. But with Modern Fertility, it's a flat fee. It's $159, which is not bad at all to know all the information and have a one-on-one call with a fertility specialist. I think it's really worth it. I literally felt like a cloud of stress like just went away after I got my results, because I was like so nervous, like something happened to me, and it was just like really, really, really nice. And I do have a code for $20 off. I'll put it in the description below if you're interested in getting it. I highly suggest, if you are in childbearing age and you're looking to have kids in the future, it is good to just test it, your fertility, and know like a baseline, and then you can always retest yourself when you're closer to the point of when you do want to conceive, just to know that everything is still in normal range. And if it's not, then the specialist will guide you to what you can do to fix issues. But it is so nice to be able to have an at-home kit, and they have PDF reports that are very detailed, and you can literally take it to your OBGYN if you wanted to, or take it to your primary care provider and say, hey, I had a fertility test, I want this in my records. You can print them out and you can give it to them. It's very nice and detailed and concise. So I really like that, because it's not just like for you, you can also then use it to, some people want to go to their OBGYN and say like, hey, I wasn't able to get this test with my insurance, but here, I paid out of pocket, I got it, here are the results. And then they can track it with you and work with you towards it as well, which is really nice. And yeah, so I just highly recommend anyone who's interested in knowing about the fertility health to try it. And if you are trying to conceive, they just came out with ovulation tests and also pregnancy tests. And they're going to come out with an app soon that tracks your period and your whole cycle, which will be so helpful because they have really, really good information. So overall, I'm very, very happy with Modern Fertility, and I highly recommend it if you are interested in taking control of your reproductive health and just getting a little more information on your fertility, because it's just so important. And I don't think we as women or society in general talk about women's health enough at all. It's always like taboo, don't talk about it, like periods are gross, stuff like that. But I am really, really loving Modern Fertility's mission and helping women take control of their reproductive health. So yeah, I highly recommend them, and let me know what you think. And yeah, and for discount code, just go below in the description and I'll link it. But I hope you all have a good day and happy testing. Have fun, guys. Bye.